Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we are going to be playing with Toasty's blue-green Risen Reef Elemental Lands list. It's a little spicy. I will say I made some changes from the initial deck list, mostly in the sideboard that I'll talk about in just a second here. So essentially, in case you don't know Risen Reef, you'll probably know it if you're a modern player. When it or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, go to the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you can put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't, put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. So we are going to use Risen Reef, Uro, and Exploration to turbo out a whole bunch of lands and kind of use that to make a whole bunch of Urza Saga tokens, or otherwise win the game with something like a Field of the Dead as the games go kind of extremely long. Supporting this, we have Endurance, which is just a fantastic card versus popular decks like Blue-Red Delver, while also being an elemental for Risen Reef. And we also have Courser of Kuphrix, which lets us play lands from the top of our library and gain a little bit of life. That's essentially the main deck. The other big notable interaction here is that Uro plus Sylvan Library is kind of dumb, which is why there's 3 copies of that in the deck list, when normally Sylvan Library is 1 to 2 of in a lot of deck lists. So essentially, the primary problem that I think exists in this deck list is that there's not removal here. I'm going to run the main deck more or less as the donor submitted it. I made some minor tweaks. For example, I added in 1 Wasteland because I added more copies of Uro, and I wanted to make sure I have at least an out in the main deck to a Caracas. I thought that was important. And I added a Life from the Loam so that I could recycle important lands, because Life from the Loam, Otawara, or Life from the Loam Boseiju is pretty cool. As far as the sideboard goes, the biggest thing I felt like I needed to do in tuning this deck list to make it viable was add Maze of Ith. So I felt like I needed some sort of removal, and blue-green is not exactly a great set of removal things, right? Like, you don't have great removal in those colors. So what I added instead was 4 Maze of Ith and Life from the Loam. And the 4 Maze of Ith plan is something that I kind of took from the recent 8 Mulch deck. So it's my hope that, like, say for a Delver matchup, that between 4 Endurance, 4 Uro, 4 Maze of Ith, and Life from the Loam to bring those back, that I can buy myself the time that I need to kind of set up my inevitability. Otherwise, most of the rest of the sideboard is for combo. We've got Sphere of Resistance as my generic hate card. We've got an additional copy of Endurance for the graveyard matchups. And then we have a handful of targets for my Urza Sagas, as well as a couple extra counter spells. I was pretty skeptical of the list in its original configuration. I think this is more reasonable. We're going to see if we can overpower a lot of decks in game ones, just with like Uros and Urza Sagas and card advantage off things like Risen Reef, and then kind of pivot into a more customized deck for the post-sideboard games. I think that's all I have to say here. Briefly, I just want to remind you all that I do a couple of different things to support myself as a content creator. You can support me on Patreon. You can support me by becoming a YouTube member. You can support me by doing donation deck lists. And if you have Twitch Prime to throw around, you can subscribe to me on Twitch as well. Although, like, honestly, I haven't streamed there in a long time, but Twitch still sends me money sometimes. So, like, that's cool. Regardless, thank you all for your support. If you don't want to support me financially or aren't in the position to, leave me a like or a comment on a video. That is the easiest way to support any content creator for free, and I guarantee that it matters. All right, let's battle. All right, I will keep this opening hand here. It's not like a basic Island Ponder setup. Like, I will absolutely be wastelandable here in the first couple of turns, but I have a pretty reasonable set of mid-range cards. I'm going to be very bad versus combo, though, given this opener. Okay, we are playing against Delver. So this round will be kind of the litmus test of whether or not the sideboarding plan is going to work. I don't love that I'm going to be wastelandable versus Delver in the first couple of turns. Like, I would like to very much get set up before I do that. That's the wrong color. But it feels necessary to play this Ponder and just try to find more lands. I do not want another Sylvan Library. I do want another land. I am okay drawing Shadow Spear. It's not exactly fantastic, but like it is what it is. Kind of my biggest problem right now is that like my hand's just slow, right? So if this Delver flips in the not too distant future, I'm probably just going to die before I can do anything meaningful. I would like to find an endurance. I kind of need to respect my Field of the Dead. It doesn't matter right now. Maybe I don't respect my Field of the Dead right now. Like, if I win this game, it's probably with this, or not with this Field of the Dead. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the Trop so it's less bad if I get Wastelanded. And we're just gonna treat this Sylvan Library as a bait spell here. This is a very good daze target for my opponent, for example. Yep. That's all fine. And then my opponent will flip this Delver in their upkeep, do an expressive iteration, and my position is okay. Not great, just okay. Basically, I'm in fear of my opponent finding a Murktide region, which is the case every time that I play against Delver. If my opponent doesn't find a Murktide, I think I'm okay. If my opponent finds a Murktide, I don't think I have any shot in this game. Okay, that's all they've got going on. Okay. I am going to cast the Uro here. I'm going to do this hoping to put in this Field of the Dead tapped. We'll see how that goes. Nice, yeah. Put that in. Gunk you. And how much is this? 4 total? 4 total. I can use that to bounce a Delver. That doesn't really seem like a great use of my mana in comparison to just like trying to get a Shadow Spear going as of right now. Having this to bounce a Murktide region if my opponent plays it, though, is a pretty big game. Field of the Dead doesn't contribute mana towards returning this Uro, which is how I'm going to win this game. Already we're seeing a very big difference between, like, the Bant shell, where I would just have, like, a pile of Swords of Plowshares and Prismatic Endings to, like, make this a non-issue, and trying to, like, play a blue-green deck that just is not running removal. Okay, that's fine. I think my opponent should hit a Tropical Island and not a Field of the Dead here. They agree. And we'll see what I can do. I'm going to play this Misty and not immediately fetch with it. Kind of like leave my options open. I'm not sure if what I'm going to do with this. Okay, they're just going to immediately Lightning Bolt that. That's fine. Okay. I get a Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam Otawara is like technically a thing that I am allowed to do. I'm going to fetch and I think ponder here and try to find like an endurance. I think I need to get Trop in respect of Uro. I would also accept like a Force of Will. Holy moly. Yeah, these cards are fine. I'm going to draw Endurance next turn. Or, you figured out what I was doing. Now that I have this, I already played my land drop. Anyway, now that I have an Endurance, I'm less scared of this Delver. Murktide, though, would still be a problem. Like, once I kill the Delver, I can, like, try to Otawara lock a Murktide. And it's a lot of resources every turn, but, like, it's a theoretical way to beat what my opponent has going on. I needed this to happen later. Okay, there it is. So, do I need to take 7 and try to kill Delver? So that it's just one creature that I'm dealing with, or do I have to bounce Murktide Regent? A single counterspell is going to wreck me. Maybe I got super punished for trying to take the Delver in combat. No, I didn't have the chance to play Endurance last turn because I pondered into it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for in combat Endurance, block Delver, nuke the graveyard, bounce Murktide the following turn. I'll be dead to Lightning Bolt if my opponent has a Lightning Bolt right now. Otherwise, I can maybe string something together with Otawara. I just don't think I can deal with 2 threats effectively. Like, the upside of the Otawara line is that it doesn't interact with Force of Will at all. Yeah, okay. I will concede there. I don't think we're winning game 1 versus Delver most of the time. Like, that's that's why I designed this sideboard to kind of help out with that. And I might even bring in this as well. Okay. What don't I want? I don't think my counter magic is good. My opponent's counter magic is just so much more efficient than mine is. I will definitely go down on Sylvan Libraries. So this is 6. Pithing Needle for Wasteland is a thing. I don't know how much that matters. I have 2 Life from the Loams to just bring stuff back. I don't know. Pithing Needle, like backing up Nazavith, is probably pretty solid. I like Exploration as something that tests my opponent's early counter spells. Makes it more likely that my 3-drops are going to resolve. I kind of want this Spell Bomb in here to just have an Urza Saga out to a Murktide Regent. Maybe trim one of those. And I don't know, maybe I get rid of the map and play this. Like, Spell Bomb as a just like bad bounce spell seems relatively relatively reasonable. This is unexciting but keepable. I think these 3 cards all kind of go together. I think I'm just going to get rid of the Brainstorm here. Like, Brainstorm Life from the Loam is super cute, but I think I'm just going to try to find a couple of land drops with this Ponder. Yeah. Like, Exploration into Life from the Loam next turn. Seems reasonable. Alright. And I'll shuffle away the Urza Saga. I don't really want that right now. No. Dragon Rage Channeler is so good. Yep. The Dragon Rage Channeler just helps to enable Murktide Regent. Okay, sure. My opponent gets to know about the exploration that I am about to play. Fine. We'll go basic forest here. Yeah. Exploration. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about with like testing their early counter spells. So now my more critical cards are more likely to resolve. Like, I lose out on some tempo here, which like absolutely matters if my opponent slips a Murktide Regent into play. Oh, cool. We're just taking 1 this turn. That's pretty lucky because like a Ponder would have set my opponent over the edge. And what's the follow-up? Another one. Okay. My situation is not great currently. I'm gonna shock and go for an Uro. Like, that ends up putting me ahead on life and gets me a card deeper into my deck. All right, we're just gonna play a lot of like healing salve type cards for a little while. The Life from the Loam that I have in hand will ensure that I can kind of like play out these Uros as time goes on. But I really don't have time to set up the Sylvan Library. Like, I'm potentially taking 6 this turn. I'm pretty likely to take 6 this turn, actually. Even just playing an instant with multiple surveils probably flips these things most of the time. Oh, okay, I'm just taking 2. That's lucky. What? I do not understand. I absolutely do not understand. Okay. And I'll go for my Life from the Loam here. I'm gonna assume that my opponent just, like, fucking clicked through combat. That line does not really make a lot of sense otherwise. I think my Endurance is important as a magic card. So I am not going to just, like, nuke the graveyard here to potentially keep a Murktide Regent from hitting play. I need to answer these things. So my plan is, like, answer these with Endurance and then get an Uro online a little bit later. That's a lot of power. I do not currently want to dredge Life from the Loam. Exploration is cool. I'm not going to play it right now. Actually, I might. Uh, I need to try to ambush these in combat. I don't think I can junk the graveyard right now. Like, I could junk the graveyard right now and play exploration, but then I don't kill one of these in combat. So I'll get punished by a main phase 1 Murktide Regent. Alright, I get to try to do my thing. Cast Endurance. A very good Force of Will. Okay. Opponent gets to Brainstorm. Go to Wasteland. 2 Wastelands? No, okay, they topped the second one. Yeah, if I take 9 this turn, then me gaining 3 off of Burrow coming back doesn't actually matter. Yeah, I expect that I have 0 outs to this situation. I don't have like a Glacial Chasm or anything like that that just can nuke all of the damage. Like, I can go up to 7 I guess I can draw a new green guy. Down to 3. Okay, I have an out here. It's Fringe, and I have to get lucky, but I can hit another Maze of Ith off my draw. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have to get rid of the life from the loam, unfortunately. 5. Do this. Yeah. So I need to hit a second Maze of Ith. Oh my god! I hit the second Maze of Ith! Abso-fucking-lutely. Wow. Ah! Let's fucking go. And if I make it around to my turn, I'm actually okay, right? Alright. Maze you. Maze you. Take 3. And you bolt me. No! No! Oh, that's okay. Is it? Maybe it's not okay. Can I double Uro on my turn somehow? It would require another lucky sequence. I can also just draw another Maze of Ith. Alright, so I start here. No! 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 Okay, at this point I can play an Exploration. I maze 2 of these things. I take damage from the last one, and I die. GG's. What a hype moment, though. Okay, mana is awkward in this hand. I'm just gonna think it through. Turn 1 Expedition Map. Turn 2 Crack Expedition Map. Get a Chorus. Turn 3 play it. Activate Urza's Saga. I think this is jumping through a lot of hoops to make a hand keepable when I could just, like, mulligan into a hand that has more stable mana. Yeah, this is fine. These brainstorms. And we're just gonna play an Urza Saga game. Right? Just Exploration Urza Saga, immediately start activating, and kind of hope for the best. Oh no. We got forced. Hand is pretty medium without that card. Oh. Well. Don't think you need me to say it, but that's bad. That's real bad. If we are playing against Blue Red Delver again, I am going to be sad. Like, this is, like, very obviously a matchup that I don't want to play. Basic Island into Delver. Fuck. Yeah, let me say on behalf of all of us, fuck. This is bad. I want, like, endurances and such at this point. I think I am going to very awkwardly cast this Brainstorm. And I'm going to explain my rationale. I believe that if I win this game, I am going to win this game because of an Uro. And so I want to fuel this Uro and move towards the world where I have the, like, consistent mana required to make Uro and bring it back. And hence I'm getting rid of all my colorless sources here. Alright. Opponent has a Daze that I'm going to need to remember. That's fine. I'm at 16. Again, very scared of a Murktide Regent happening next turn. And I think this is... okay. I think this is going to be my breeding pool. That I don't have to worry about just naturally drawing that later. There it is. Alright, I just shuffled one of you away. I don't really want you right now. Play that as a land. And go for an Uro. Opponent can daze this if they want. I don't care if they daze the front side of this. I guess the back side that matters. I would love it to resolve, but opponent probably realistically has 6 points of power in play. So I don't think I get to, like, fuck around and play around daze here. When my deck has no removal to answer these creatures. Alright, I will take 4 damage. I don't know that I get to say that that's fine. Alright, opponent did not have Murktide, which is cool. So now, I'm going to attempt Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all of it. And I am attempting this with Force of Will backup. Okay, yeah. I will let my opponent do their surveilling, and then I will counter their force. Alright, so Murktide goes into their graveyard. And I will do my thing here. And kind of for the first time, I have stuck in Uro. Yeah. And we'll see if my opponent has like some main deck Pyroblasts or something that will help with this. My opponent is currently winning the race, I think. Like I am effectively taking 3 damage a turn, so like I have time and I'm gonna draw some bonus cards. I can make some constructs. Like it certainly matters. Alright, Uro. Find me some goodies. Ooh, wow, that got really tough all of a sudden. I am gonna put that other Urza Saga onto the battlefield. They work well in multiples. Alright, take 6. So this is set aside for Urza Saga. I can still play a land drop if I want to. Let's do this brainstorm thing. Well, I'm glad I am shuffling these things off the top of my library, I think is what I'll say. Let's junk that. Junk that. Well, I don't want to draw those cards, so I will go ahead and fetch. I will get a basic island just to respect my Field of the Dead. Yeah, I'll have plenty of mana. So I will play out this exploration rather than hold it for another potential brainstorm. Actually, I think I am ahead now. My opponent can draw a lightning bolt and kill. Maybe I gave my opponent the out of lightning bolt, actually, in a way that I shouldn't have by fetching. I dodged lightning bolt, which means I just get Shadow Spear, gain 6, and this game is over. But I don't think I should have fetched. I should have just accepted a bad draw to not end up in the situation that I just put myself in. So, library is cool. All right. 2 mana to equip Shadow Spear, so I can go ahead and do that now. Then sacrifice this land, grab Shadow Spear, equip to Uro. Is 7 lifelinky trampoly damage. You know what, Construct, you can come along too. Because then that represents 10 and forces a chump block. Didn't hit a land, I think that's fine. Yep, good stuff. Alright, we salvaged this game. I am just going to play a Sylvan Library here. I know it's going to resolve. And now at this point, it's basically like Murktide Regent or bust for my opponent. Yeah. Ooh, okay. There's a good chance I can win one of the post-sideboard games. I don't think I can rattle off 2 in a row. Okay, so what did I do before? I like Maze of Ith, I like Life from the Loam, I like Endurance, and I think I brought in the Spell Bomb as well. So I think I trimmed a Sylvan Library, trimmed a Force of Will, I trimmed an Exploration. I don't remember what the last thing I did was. Let's Expedition Map. It was probably Expedition Map for being slow. Let's sort this by mana value. I think I'm good with this. It may be that one more Exploration is better than a Risen Reef, though. Risen Reef is slow. Like, I have other things to do with my mana when I reach that point of the game. I could see wanting to keep all of these just to get counter spells out of my opponent's hand. Haha. No. I have no blue mana. All my lands are wastelandable. And if I get wastelanded once, I lose access to all of my green mana. I just want something with more lands than this. Yeah, this hand's way better. I really want a third land. I do not want my third land to be disappearing. Just kind of with the structure of how this hand works. And, let's see. We're facing down a Delver. Am I starting this game on basics? A little awkward, too. I think I am going to try it, though. Just makes, like, my Ponder significantly worse. Okay, cool. That happened. All right, so let's find more lands. I am fetching this in a way where I'm not wastelandable, but I'm fetching this in a way where like Endurance might not be easily castable. Hey, those are cards. Wow, wow, wow. There's a Saga disappearing is a thing. I think I accept that. I guess I can brainstorm into Endurance if I'm okay with Endurance being dazeable. I want these lands. They're just very, very good right now. I want to ambush this Delver in combat if at all possible. Okay, sure. Yeah. Holy shit. We've got work to do in terms of not dying, for sure. I will take the 1 here and go to 17. I am unsure what to do right now, because if my opponent does not have days, it's so good for me to brainstorm and then play endurance, but if they do have days, it's just an absolute disaster for me. I'm also not sure that I want to let them untap and, like, brainstorm prior to playing this endurance. I might need to just, like, play this out and say, like, hey, I have this. We're going to stare at each other for a little while, and then hope that my Urza Saga can tick up in a reasonable way. I think that's the route I'm going to go. There's also a question of, like, what land I get right here, because I'm already wastelandable due to this Urza Saga, so it may be correct to just grab a Trop and respect my Uro flashback later on in this game, now that I've made it to this mid-game point. But I'm unsure about this play. If I trade Endurance for a Delver and a Lightning Bolt, though, like, I'm good with that as of right now. Oh, cool. So Delvers aren't flipping. Okay, yep. Goodbye, Urza Saga. Okay, they do have a Lightning Bolt. I will happily take my 2 for 1 here. All right, expected Lightning Bolt is expected. Uro is a hell of a draw. Absolutely. Be a good days from my opponent, but luckily they do not have it. Ooh, nice. I'm pretty happy with that. I am not out of the shit yet, right? Like, these Delvers can flip and I can take 6 damage this turn. But my current hand does a lot towards rebuilding. Just a question of, like, am I going to have the time before these Delvers kill me? Pyroblast enters the exiled zone. That's fine. I take 6 going to 11. That's what I'm looking for. Like, given how much pressure I'm under, I probably need to try for immediate Uro rather than Uro around days. It's also possible that I could, like, try to brainstorm into a Maze of Ith or something as well. But here's my attempt. Like, opponent knows this is something that's coming, and they did Expressive Iteration and didn't put Pyroblast to hand. Like, I imagine this does not go well for me. But here's my attempt. Okay, they just had a second Pyroblast. Absolutely. I am now dead in a whole lot of worlds. Yeah, that's insult to injury at this point. Okay, they're just gonna rack that for a card. That's fine. I'm dead in most imaginable worlds here. I have a brainstorm to try and help, and, like, if I find an Uro, I go to 7. How this goes. Not well. So I put 2 cards back, I can Risen Reef, flip one of those cards into play. That doesn't actually get me anywhere, and I am dead. GG. And now I get a game on the play to try to string something together. This matchup feels very hard without real removal in the deck. Like, the Maze of Hiths help, but I have to find them. I don't get a lot of time. I don't really love this opening hand. I have a Maze of Ith and multiple Uros. I think I will keep this. I might end up doing, like, an end of turn brainstorm on my opponent's turn just to try and smooth out my next couple of turns. I'd like to play Sylvan Library next turn without playing Urza's Saga. I'm going to end up wastelandable no matter what here, so I'm just going to grab a Trop and go for this. Okay. Oh, fuck. Well, that's bad. I think I have now lost this game upon missing that. I'm going to ponder and try to make the top of my library better. So I will shuffle there. Someone's not bad. I'm gonna play a Maze of Ith. Like, try to slow down this game a bit, force my opponent to have multiple creatures. Alright, I can get that back with Maze of Ith. It's just kind of a slow existence. I guess I'd like to rip a green producing land for my turn. Not a green producing land. Alright. I don't like Urza's Saga right now. Like, the disappearing land situation has been, like, very real in these last couple of games. This is such a good Force of Negation if my opponent has it. Real good days, too. So, if I can resolve a Life from the Loam and, like, get Exploration and such going, like, I'm in an okay situation, but my Tropical Island getting wastelanded would be a disaster if that hypothetically were to happen, given the context of this game. I cannot dredge Life from the Loam. I need to hit a green source, and I did not. And I'm about to lose my Urza Saga as well. Oh, cool. Yeah, so we're dead. I think I will concede if my next card drawn is not a green source. I just can't possibly win. Like given Delver's Clock, if I don't hit a land this turn. Cannot do that. Okay, that gives me some hope. I'll float a mana here. Spellbomb? One has used 2 wastelands. Pithing Needling them is medium. Spellbomb means that I'm better against the second creature. I don't see myself having mana to activate that. I am just going to go for the Pithing Needle. Like, my opponent is unlikely to have a wasteland, but if they do, it is crippling. So, there's my Sylvan Library. I think it's too late. Like, I'm going to take at least 3 this turn. Well, I'm taking 3 this turn, and I don't know how much next turn. Probably 6. I go to 9 here. I take 6 next turn. I can't actually draw a card with Sylvan Library. I just use this to filter and help me find a land. No. We'll use this ability. No. No. That's no lands. Alright. Concede. Yeah. So our lack of game 1 removal is just putting us too far behind, even given the Maze of Ith plan. I'm just, like, not getting set up before I die. Alright, round 3. Bunch of new lands. I have a Sylvan Library. I have a Force of Will for protection. Hand's okay. I'm not ecstatic, but, like, hand's not bad. I am just going to need more mana to operate. And, like, getting wastelanded will be the death of me. Alright, a mountain. I will play this land first in case I need to brainstorm in response to something. We're potentially playing against either Burn or Mono Red Prison. Burn. I am an Uro deck. I currently have Uro. Like, life's not that bad in that regard, but, like, the whole paying life with Sylvan Library plan became a lot worse. No, abso-fucking-lutely not. Do I brainstorm? Like, I want to pitch Risen Reef to this, I think. I think I just want to brainstorm anyway for mana efficiency and putting a card into graveyard. Holy shit, those cards are bad. Okay. Right. Force, Roiling Vortex. Pitching Risen Reef. My Sylvan Libraries have work to do. Like, I need my cards under these 2 cards that are on top of my library to be very good, or I am just going to die due to, like, not having mana sources. Like, I might have to take damage to get through some of these cards, depending on how bad things look. Like, that's happening. Alright. Please be a land. A fetch land, 3rd card down. That was not a fetch land. That on top of library. Do I pay 4 life to get through some of this? Not having green for endurance is really bad right now. Not having enough land to get this into play is really bad right now. Okay, I'm gonna do this. So I can't physically actually remove this Eidolon except in combat, right? Like, my deck doesn't have removal. That's rough. Like, I have life gain, but, like, tripping over my mana here is going to result in my immediate death. Like, I can pretend like I'm playing a game of Magic here, but I'm really not. I think if I don't hit a fetch land to get, like, more cards in graveyard for Uro, I'm very likely to just die. Alright, I'm at 11. Alright, I eat 3 more to a Chain Lightning. I can't die this turn, but I can get real close. Okay, there is a fetch land. That's fantastic. The rest of these cards aren't really good. Put those other ones back. I'm going to play a land, and I'm going to play Endurance mid-combat to try to kill this. My situation is pretty horrible. And I don't know how much better it gets in post-sideboard games. Like, I have cards that technically do stuff, but nothing that I feel is fantastic. Like, the Uros are the thing that are going to potentially win me this game, and my opponent is packing main deck hate for that card, as they, like, very expectedly need to be doing. They're going to cycle a Fiery Islet here. Oh, they're going to Lightning Bolt my face. That happens. The one more 3 damage burn spell kills me, because Eidolon does me 2 damage in combat. So I think this one is over in favor of my opponent before. Oh, shit, Yavimaya. Fuck, I had that in play before, didn't I? Gotta play this Endurance the previous turn. Alright, I fucked that up. I was so focused on being stuck on mana previously that I didn't even think about that. Okay. Yeah, I fucked that up. I took a little bit more damage than I needed to. I still don't think I'm winning this game 1. Like, I'm so far behind. Okay, they're drawing a card. Okay, my Endurance has resolved. I don't think I need to mess with either graveyard here. I guess I will because of Grim Lavamancer. Like, that's not a commonly played card anymore, but it's a thing. I will block this guy. Okay, that worked out. I wouldn't be surprised if I just die at sorcery speed to Chain Lightning, though. Alright, there's a land drop. Okay, cool. And I will get another set of looks with Sylvan Library. Drop and Exploration. I'm already going to be super dead to a Price of Progress. I'm going to take the Ponder and start filling my graveyard for Uro. Alright. Cast Ponder. How do I make my, like, exact turn that I'm on as good as possible? I probably have to play Brainstorm and just work towards filling the graveyard. There's 3 in there. The fetch line would be 4. This Brainstorm would be 5. Back Pithing Needle, Sylvan Library. Land drop. Exploration. Land drop. Don't fetch. Risen Reef. Grab that card. Hit my opponent for 3. I have a blocker for a haste creature if my opponent has one. And I can hopefully play Uro without losing life, but again, everything kills me. Pitfall. Yeah. I could have played that game better. I still don't think I win it, unfortunately. I will probably play this as a blocker. I probably have to play Spheres just because I think this matchup's so bad for me. I just need to slow my opponent down to have any hope. App can go out. I don't think I get to bring in these. I think I just have to, like, cast Uros. I think I'm just going to get rid of all the Sylvan Libraries. I just can't take the time off to cast them. It means my turn 2 is not great. This becomes my turn 2, though. That's fine. And Risen Reef feels really slow. Means my forces are a little less good than I would like them to be, but... Oh, Life from the Loam's also bad. Life from the Loam helps fill Graveyard for Uro. Is it better to just play one card that, like, pitches to the forces? Probably. But I'm really not sure. So this forces a thing and cannot make double green for this Endurance. I think this one just has to go back. Like, I am very specifically looking for Uro. This isn't Uro, but produces a turn 2 Sphere of Resistance and then has a blocker, I guess. So I will keep this and pitch the Force of Negation that I have no cards to pair it with. And because of the existence of Price of Progress, I am going to start on basics. It gets a little harder what I do with this one. So, like, one of these gets an island, and then, like, I have reasons to care about, like, forest and island. If this Goblin Guide gives me a mana source, I get a lot of direction for what to do. There's a Force of Will on top of my library, which I very much do not want. This is immediately going to become an island then. And I'll eat that damage. Alright. I am going to guarantee myself removing Goblin Guide this turn rather than playing out my Sphere, I think. That may be wrong. But I think the sooner I stabilize the board, the better. Like, it may be that taking 2 points of damage to drop the Sphere of Resistance ends up saving me more life. But that is a little unclear. All right, so we will do the whole Goblin Guide Scry thing again. I get a Yavimaya. Play an Endurance. Don't need to target anyone here. I am just going to kill the Monastery Swift Spear since it scales and, like, Goblin Guides gives me lands. Good with that. I am going to turn this into an island because it will be a dual land because of Yavimaya already. Hell yeah. So I kind of have to play this in the opposite order. I will play an Uro first. Take my 3 life off of that. Then play a Sphere while my opponent has 1 land. That feels pretty good. Absolutely no attacks with Endurance. Now I just need to hang on until I can get this Uro into play. Suspending a Rift Bolt. Absolutely. Yeah, so I can attack with his Endurance and then just play a new one. My Force of Will is not currently on. That's fine. And we can try to get this Goblin Guide to draw me a card. So Rift Bolt brings me to 13. I'm probably plenty healthy to just, like, be okay for the rest of this match. Like, shit can happen. Like, I can brick off. Another Sphere on top. Absolutely get wrecked. 4 mana. Remove you. And I'm clocking in for 6 while keeping my opponent from casting literally any spell. I think it's fine playing the second Sphere. Like, it makes it harder for me to bring back the Uro. But, like, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, opponent can't do anything until they are at 3 lands, and if they draw land, then land. Like, they've already taken a decent amount of damage from these, and, like, they're just dead. The Spheres become worse on the draw. I can still turn to them if I get an Exploration, but, like, they definitely become worse. On the draw, I'm more interested in, like, an Urza Saga hand. Okay, so I have Land Ponder. I have double Uro in hand. Is this fine? There's a lot of worlds where I just, like, miss lands and die with this hand. But I don't have removal. I got my opponent's creatures. This is keepable. I'm not excited about it. Like, I just have three 3-drops in my 1-land hand versus a very aggressive deck. Like, an Exploration Urza Saga hand is just better than this. I think I'm gonna mulligan. This I'll keep. I'm much happier with this than the last hand. This one is just less risky. So I'm gonna keep this and pitch my redundant Uro. I have a Force of Negation if I have to use it. I will try not to use it. Alright. Lava Spike is fine. Clarifying, I will try not to use it until I can do it without it costing me a card. That's what I truly mean by that. That is just a bunch of land. I kind of feel like I want cantrips right now to fill my graveyard for Uro. I don't think I want 2 lands here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle. Endurance is okay. Like, Endurance helps if my opponent plays an Eidolon or something. That's fine. I can't ambush that next turn. I can get it the following turn with Endurance, which is fine. Let's just keep spinning with cantrips here. I think it's possible I'm not supposed to play this and just, like, have a blue card in hand for Force of Negation in case Roiling Vortex happens. Yeah, like, kind of given that, I think I'm just going to replace that with this Brainstorm. Tapped Breeding Pool? Or Fetch? I think tapped Breeding Pool. Like, I can try to put that back with the Brainstorm later, but, like, I lose the Brainstorm to Force of Negation some portion of the time. I will just eat that. I have potentially bigger fish to fry. That brings me to 13. The attack brings me to 12. The kind of scary thing here is that, like, opponent is missing land drops, which means they probably have 12 points of burn in their hand, plus or minus a little bit. Rise of Progress is a thing I have to think about. But these also, like, cost me precious points of life right now. They also fill the graveyard for Uro, which is maybe the more relevant thing here. Forest, Island. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Okay, opponent has unlocked another land, which is where things start to get scary. I don't like that. Very much not good at answering that card. Alright. Grab a forest. Play an Endurance. Please let my spells resolve. Okay. I'll junk the graveyard, although I don't expect it to be super relevant. I guess I'm getting punished for not forcing a Chain Lightning earlier. Okay. Basically, no choice. Have to play this. And that gets me ahead on life. We make another land drop. Need to play 2 fetches so that I can Uro next turn. I don't love that. Like, means that a price of progress is pretty damning. And I can't really cast a Brainstorm right now. I also expect that my opponent's hand is just straight gasoline. And my rate on Force of Negation is just not good. Right, like, it's probably a gain 1 life spell while this is in play. I have successfully left and gone to the bathroom, and my opponent is still trying to figure out their line. Okay, there is movement. Chain Lightning targeting me. I need to gain 1 life here. I don't think so. Like, I can try to get something that does 4 damage instead. There's also worlds where my opponent attacks with the Eidolon in combat. And then, like, I can use this Force of Negation without it costing me life. Or puts me to 5. Fire Blast is super awkward. Might have to counter this. Like, that happens. That happens. This puts me to 5. If my opponent has Fire Blast, this goes up to a 4, and I take 2 damage from this in order to Force of Will that. Does my Force save me? We at 6 instead. Fire Blast still beats me. I can do a chump on Monastery Swift Spear. Or rather, I can just straight up block Monastery Swift Spear. It's also just like very hard for me to get a read on my opponent because they are just playing so slowly. I think the worlds that go better for me are the worlds where my opponent doesn't actually have Fire Blast. So I'm going to force this. It's not just about this turn, it's about next turn too. An opponent still has 2 cards in hand that I think are gas spells. Okay, I mean, like, I will block. Okay, cool. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in graveyard. A fetch land will be my 5th card in graveyard. I will fetch. And if opponent has Fire Blast, I die with my Uro trigger on the stack. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take 2. I die to Fire Blast right here if opponent has it. Okay, they do not have it, which is fantastic. Boseiju is really fucking cool. I'm going to lose. Price of Progress currently does 4 damage to me. If I play Boseiju, I can get rid of Eidolon. I'm going to ignore. Price of Progress. Little another land drop. Okay, cool. Actually, I should probably attack with this. Boseiju the Eidolon when my opponent goes for an attack. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I just need to prolong this game. I can also just play towards the timeout. Got a Sulfuric Vortex covered with Boseiju if that's something that happens as well. Alright, I finally gotten priority. Opponent blocks with a Swift Spear. Or attacks with a Swift Spear. I'm going to block with Endurance and not Uro. Just take no risks here. Not expose that Uro to combat damage that could potentially kill it. I can't bring it back from the graveyard right now. Yeah, Searing Blood is fine. Brings me to 3. I'm good with that. Oh, is your last card a Lightning Bolt? Sucks. At exactly 3. I can Brainstorm into a Force plus a blue card. Otherwise, I'm dead to that. This puts me at 1. Let's see if I hit it. Absolutely get fucked. Oh no, I die to the Eidolon. I'll go out on my own terms. So unfortunate. If I had 1 more card, I could have gone out differently. Hey folks, quick plug here. I have a few slots for the tail end of April and have slots available for May for donation deck lists. If you have sweet things, especially if they feature cards from the new set that's coming out, I would love to play them on that channel. All that information is available on my website, which is linked in every video description. Okay, that's it. Let's get back to the magic. Alright, I will be keeping my hand. I will get a chance to decide on turn 1 whether or not I want this to be an Urza Saga hand. Because if I don't think my opponent has Wasteland, I just go, like, Trop Urza Saga, or sorry, Trop Exploration Urza Saga and just start that way. Or I can play more fairly and play Trop Windswept on 1 and like try to do some Risen Reef nonsense. I guess let's see if this resolves first. I don't think I want to play Basic Forest here. Okay. Let's just play Windswept Heath. I need more lands than what I have right now to, like, utilize the rest of my stuff in my hand. Like, the turn 1 Urza Saga is really good, but, like, the hand will fall apart quickly. Alright. Playing against another, like, lands-ish deck. The Forest. Sure. Okay, yeah. And, absolutely would have fallen apart if I went for the Urza Saga line. Yeah. I guess let's grab some. Make sure I have at least one of each of my colors available all game. I don't know yet whether or not my opponent is a life from the loam deck that can recur that wasteland. I think this will be well worth it. I could brainstorm to guarantee Risen Reef puts a land into play. I'll do that. See what this looks like. A lot of clunk. A lot of clunk. I now cannot guarantee Risen Reef will put a land in play because like I thought I would hit a land in 3 cards. Wrong. Wrong is the answer. Hopefully I can just get multiple. Yeah, that's punishing. Going for that immediately. That means I'll just play a Sylvan Library instead. It's not the end of the world, but that was a good play from my opponent. Kind of hoping they would need the mana for things on their side of the battlefield. I'm probably getting bashed for 4 this turn in a lot of scenarios. Okay, I am not. Opponent's gonna get their value instead. Absolutely use this ability. I honestly think I'm just going to get through these cards. Like, I need to do something more degenerate than what this hand is capable of. Like, with 4 3-drops in hand, I need to hit new land drops. And I am not succeeding. Because otherwise my opponent just, like, turns his flagstones into a wasteland, wastelands this, and I just get stuck again. So we missed 3 cards off Brainstorm. We missed when we went deeper with Silver Library and then deeper with Uro. I expect I am just dead to getting wastelanded and then attack. Oh, okay, cool. They're grinding that value train instead of trying to just strip me out of the game, which I do appreciate. Okay, they're going. Sure. Log me. Yep. Seems good. The reasonable line. I guess that plays around me spiking double lands off my Sylvan Library or something to put the Uro into play. Yeah, that's probably better than wastelanding me. Jesus. All right. There's absolutely too many Risen Reefs. Yeah. Just wow. That on top. I need to find land. Nope. Okay, there is a land. This is my first land drop. I think I'm going to ponder and try to find a second land here. This is a little greedy, but I think I'm in I need to be greedy territory. Take this Urza Saga. Play it. Play this. Batch. I'm already super wastelandable at this point. So I think I'm going to give up trying to play safe in that regard. Risen Reef better than Courser. Courser just blocks. Courser gains life. The life's relevant. Yeah, Courser makes it easier for me. Other Urza Saga. Already played 2 lands, right? Yeah, I've already played 2 lands. Anyway, Courser makes it easier for me to not get pecked to death by this Elvish Reclaimer, and it forces my opponent on the, like, Dark Depths plan, which will still be quite good. Oh god, especially now. Now Otawara isn't an out. Well, this is a good turn for my opponent, folks. Okay, yeah, they're going to assemble Dark Depths, from the look of things. I can block it for a little while. I'll pay for one of these. Put one back. I don't have Spell Bomb because this is game 1. I do have Pithing Needle, but that's probably too slow. Constructs are also, like, a thing. Let's get some Risen Reef action going. And this puts an Endurance into my hand. I just look at this, right? Yeah, so they don't know what that is. So I think I just pass here holding up Urza, Saga, and Endurance rather than playing the second Risen Reef. Second Risen Reef is definitely cute and will make the Endurances better, but I don't think ultimately it's very good. Alright, get your Dark Depths piece. Swords to Plowshares that. I will respond. Going to make an Endurance. Now this is a chump blocker graveyard. Anyway, this is a chump blocker for the Merit Lodge that I suspect is coming. Alright, land goes onto the battlefield. Clean out the graveyard. Lose that. And then I expect Bojuka Bog to get rotated away for either Dark Depths or Thespian Stage. Oh, they're going for Wasteland. Okay, cool. So I guess opponent is going to try to take out my Urza Sagas and keep me from doing cool things with them. I'm fine with that. The hell is this? X is 3. Ramu Nap? Oh, fuck, I probably should have. Okay, it's another Reliquary. That's fine. I mean, it's like not really fine, but I'm having to deal with it. Shadow Spear. Force of Will goes back. Shadow Spear probably goes back. Probably take the land drop. Alright, I don't love my situation. I'm going to clear the top of my library here. And we'll just get things with different names in case I have time for Field of the Dead to be relevant. I don't really know how I'm winning this game. Like, my opponent has, like, a great inevitability setup here. Shuffle those. Neuro's a hell of a drug. Put that into play. Work on gaining some life. There's another land drop. Dunk that. And I guess I should have tapped this for colorless, huh? Keeps me from bringing back Uro immediately. Play Risen Reef. And I'm going to need some card advantage. No. Will not put that on the battlefield. This is some shit, though. My deck not having removal is just so brutal here. Like, if I did, I could point something at Sylvan Safekeeper and then try to answer this, like, Merit Lodge that is coming whenever my opponent feels like it's safe to do so. But, like, in the post-sideboard games, I'm not going to get better here. Like, I can play these Maze of Iths, but, you know, I can play the Aether Spellbombs, but, like, my opponent is just so safe right now. The only way they're going to die is if they kill themselves with Sylvan Library. They just, like, threaten Merit Lodge literally whenever they want. Life from the Loam plus multiple Otawara is just also, like, not super reasonable. This one also might be far enough gone where I should just, like, concede as well. A Prismatic Ending, sure. I'm not gonna concede. I'll take another draw. But, like, if opponent just, like, turns all these creatures sideways, I just die in 2 turns, right? We're not doing that. Like, opponent has so many different paths to victory here. Expedition map. I don't have a Caracas or anything. Just I put back the library and the map, and then fetch those away so I draw something new with Uro. Or tapped. Alright, I'll, like, leave my Urza Sagas in there. My fetch lands aren't doing a lot of good right now. If my opponent has Sujiri's Step, I also, like, can't really beat that. That into play. I mean, I guess I do this. My opponent responds, and it's not great for me. But if my opponent doesn't have access to Sujiri's Step for some reason, I can deal with what's going on. Not well, but I can deal with it. So this name's Sylvan Safekeeper. And I wish the breeding pool was tapped. Yeah, choosing to save 2 points of life before I knew that I had the Pithing Needle play. Very punishing, but, like, given how much mana I had, I wasn't expecting 1 mana to make that much of a difference. But I didn't play specifically towards this line. And let's see if they have it. Yeah, they have it. Yeah, so I lose this game for not having this untapped, because I can tap this for green because of Yavimaya. Ugh. Alright. I really don't like my odds here. Like, I'll play Maze of Ith, Endurance, Life from the Loam, Aether Spellbomb. Full Guide Lantern is playable as well. They don't really like Force of Wills here, I don't think. I just feel like my deck's a little too slow. Like, this whole Risen Reef thing has, like, not really gotten super online this league. Get rid of this. Is this game fast or slow? Or somewhere in between? All these need to come in, meaning I need to make 2 more cuts. They can just be Risen Reefs or, like, Coursers. Be a Courser. Hard to make that life gain super relevant and then just go down 1 Risen Reef because they're slow. But again, without removal in my deck, I just don't like my odds. These Reclaimers just get to sit there unmolested. And my opponent can interact in so many ways via Elvish Reclaimer if I can't check it. I'll keep this hand. It's fine. I might be going all in on Urza Saga immediately, though. Opponent's mulliganing. I don't know, like... Wasteland is just so crushingly good against this hand. There's always this, and then it's harder from there. Like, I can try to play an Urza Saga game. I'm unsure if that's better than trying to play, like, the Sylvan Library Uro game. That helps my mana a little bit. Maze of Ith is cool. Going to tap for green mana, which helps a lot. There's Saga into Uro. But this is an Uro where, like, I haven't had any early game cantrips to help power it out. Yeah, I'll put a Maze of Ith into play. Yeah, I'll put a Maze of Ith into play. Yeah, I'll use your Yavimaya to cast my cards. Okay, that was a good turn. Your Wasteland is good, but my Sylvan Library helps out a lot. Green Sun for Dryad Arbor? Yeah. Fine, I'll go down to 22 here. And in the future, I can keep these things from poking me with Maze of Ith. I will almost certainly be taking 8 off of my Sylvan Library here, unless the cards are just awful. Exploration Breeding Pool. Those aren't great. Just getting through them? I think I'm just getting through them. Like, I'm not happy with these cards. However, like, I have things like Field of the Dead in my deck that I would like to work towards. I'm going to hold this for Brainstorm. If 3 land drops a turn, I don't have to make my decision about this immediately. No, I'm going to go ahead and play that. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that if my opponent has Prismatic Ending, they can't answer my Sylvan Library and keep me from finding more gas. This makes a Brainstorm slightly worse, though. Well, there I am, getting punished for my decision to play out that Boseiju. Arrow got much, much, much worse. Put that Misty back. Pay 4 life for that. And say no to the second Sylvan Library. So I will play Uro. And that gets me a Misty Rainforest, which I will go ahead and put into play. 3. By fetching and just playing Ponder anyway. I have 4 untapped mana sources already. Fueling the graveyard is pretty important right now. I think I will give up a land to do this. Go Island and Ponder. Urza Saga is pretty good. Will not shuffle. I will play that Urza Saga. Now, this is about the point where I'd like to draw my Field of the Dead. Yeah. And what's the follow-up? Green Sun for 2. You have anything cool at 2? Outland Liberator. Sure. A little annoying, because this is an attack trigger. Okay. Yeah, so if I miss on a spell, that thing just transforms. How many cards are in my graveyard? Other than the Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can Uro. Green, blue, blue. Sure. No on the second one of those. Land. Fetch. Grab a blue source. Blue, blue, green, green. 1, 2, 3. I'll exile the second Uro. Alright. My opponent's Caracas is rough here. I really need to play a spell or that thing flips and just starts shredding my Sylvan Libraries. And I can keep playing this Uro if I have to. Yeah, that's fine. And my opponent could choose not to. play any spells this turn in order to just guaranteed flip that thing. Yep. What they have chosen to do. I can flip it back by playing 2 spells, right? Yeah. Urza is really cool here, actually. I'm gonna put 1 land on top. Pay 4 life to keep that. Say no to that. Play you. I don't even have to fetch. Let's save the points of life here. I'll play an Uro. And then I'm going to draw a land. Put it into play. Junk that. And I'm going to go for ambushing this in combat. Just let it destroy one of my Sylvan libraries. To try to make a more permanent run at messing up my opponent. I will say that if my opponent were to, for some reason, rotate their Yavimaya out, it would be a major fucking blowout for me. I don't really expect that to happen, but it would be the case. Yeah, goodbye Sylvan Library number 1. My permanents are bouncing around like mad in a relatively annoying way. I will take those lands out of your graveyard. Oh no, they have the Swords of Plowshares. Rough. So I'm going to take some damage for that. And more Maze of Ith. I will be taking that. And I will hide behind a pile of Maze of Iths. Pyroblast? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3. Fetch land could be 4, 5. I could just Uro again. I would rather do that next turn, though, honestly. And, like, not give up as many of my lands. I am hoping that I can just find Field of the Dead and use that as my way of pulling ahead long term. Losing my other Sylvan Library here kind of sucks. That means I need to fetch to clear the top cards of my library since they are just lands. Yeah. Junk one of these fetches. I think I have to turn it into a trop, yeah. Now we're at the mercy of the library. What is this? Oh, I'm about to get bogged. Yep, seems good. Yep, there is the bog taking up my Uro. Exploration. I am not going to play that. I'm going to save that for a brainstorm. Alright, so I'm going to lose an exploration here. And I'll just F6 through the rest of this turn. Whatever you got, you got. Nothing. Good. This is artifact or enchantment. Yep, so I will hold that in hand. Again, for a brainstorm. At some point, I can transform this back if I have a critical turn where I have to do that, but that's not here. Start to run into trouble if my opponent has like a Field of the Dead type card that they can use for inevitability. Goodbye, more other exploration. I will miss you. Don't take damage, but not coming out ahead in these interactions. Yeah, since I have well, no, I don't have so many land drops anymore. Yeah, so I guess I'll just play that, and that can just chill. All right, here's a Reclaimer activation. I assume my opponent will get a Wasteland and just continue to attack my Maze of Iths. Yeah. So I will just Wasteland their Wasteland. Crop rotation. Classic. Classic. So I will lose another Maze of Ith here, and then that means that my opponent can get in for realistic amounts of damage. I'm going to start taking 4 a turn, which means I don't have long for this world. The choke was a good starting point towards putting me in a bad spot. But like just having 0 removal so that I can't actually answer this card has been pretty disastrous. Okay, sure. All right, so it all comes in. Now I will cast an Endurance. I think I'm just gonna leave that shit in my opponent's graveyard so I don't put Wastelands back in their deck. No. Fuck. I just keep trying to wiggle. I just keep trying to wiggle so hard. But it's just not mattering here. I mean, that's good. I can hold the Shadow Spear and try to gain some life with it next turn or something. I guess I can play, or no, I can play 2 spells and flip that. I don't know if that's correct. Okay, manual Dark Depths. Absolutely respect it. All right. I have one more trop left in my deck, right? I think I have one more trop left in my deck, so that like this is a real creature. All right. Brainstorming. Life from the loam. Hell yeah. Let's put back land ponder. Cast Life from the Loam, targeting Maze, Wasteland. Paying 1, 2. Play my first land drop. Get an idiot. Play Exploration. Play my second land drop. Get an idiot. At this point, I think I am comfortable putting a Shadow Spear to play. Oh, that's not going to get to untap. Hope that doesn't matter. Game 2, by the way. I hope this isn't game 2. Alright, so rotate away the flagstones. There's the plains. What's the actual card that they're getting? Age, sure. The threat of Merit Lodge is real. Like, damaging the air is good. Yeah. Losing that life from the loam's good, because I was planning on, like, Wasteland life from the loam Wasteland. And that was going to be pretty powerful. My opponent might be able to go wide of my Field of the Dead to kill me. Alright. Activate. Away. Yeah, sure. Then they'll activate the other one. Just grind out that value. Right, getting a Bojuka Bog. Okay. Oh, I see. So they enduranced themselves to put the Bojuka Bog back into their deck. I see. All right. Ponder is a thing. How is Uro? I have a few more lands left in my deck. I guess Uro's not crazy. So I will play a Wasteland, get my critter, batch, grab my blue source I need to play an Uro this turn, play an Uro, gain some marginal amount of life. Yes, fantastic. Sacrifice that. Junk this to pick up a new land. Get a few more creatures. Let's blow up Dark Depths so I don't have to worry about that in the future. I think that's worth it. There's a world where I make an undead army and just like alpha swing and kill my opponent. There's also a world where my opponent just like plays a knight, uses Sajiri's Step, and then gets through for lethal through all of these zombies though. So like that's also a thing that I need to be concerned with. Okay, that's no attacks. Reef is fine. Alright, what are we looking at? Pithing Needle's cool. Let's do that. This thing has 2 different names, so I don't think I'm going to try to shut it off. I'm going to shut off the Elvish Reclaimers. Stop that nonsense. By alpha, 5 of these get blocked. So I'm just going to chill. Force of Vigor. Absolutely. Into the old Elvish Reclaimer grind again. Finding a Wasteland. At this point, I'm more likely to just lose to Wasteland than anything else. Or sorry, lose to time than anything else. I have another Life from the Loam that I can find to get that back. Life's not exactly good. Yeah, I mean, play you. Actually, I probably shouldn't have played that for Brainstorm. Sorry, I'm at the point where I can't really spend a lot of time thinking. I just have to make plays. F6 or F2 through as much of turns as I can. I think I am just at this point going to always yield to those just to start taking fractions of seconds off of my timer here. Cat. Sure. I'll yield to those as well for similar reasons. This Maze of Ith plan is just like showing me that like as these games go long, I can definitely not die, but this deck isn't very good at winning games of Magic. Like I guess without the choke there, like I'm more than able to win this game, right? Like, so I guess it's not like entirely fair. And it's like 3 Wastelands away from being able to beat me as well. Okay, cool. So let's do this. Guess I'm just looking for an Urza Saga? Question mark? Oh, I can get a Boseiju. Hell yeah. So I'll end of turn Boseiju that choke and then start trying to win with an Uro. Oh shit, hold on. I need to, right now, before my opponent realizes this, destroy this choke, because if my opponent rotates this away, my ability to destroy that choke actually goes way fucking down. So I am going to do that right now. I'm really glad I realized that before my opponent did. Okay, they're responding with something. Okay. Oh shit, do I lose? I lose to, fuck, I lose to double Wasteland for this, don't I? Not immediately. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to wait. Again, 3 minutes on the clock. Okay, yep. So they're gonna make their Merit Lodge. They have 1 Wasteland for Maze of Ith. They can top deck a second, but oh fuck. Then I give them the other mana to find the other one, and I die for it. Yeah, I fucked that up. I needed to wait. I guess there has to be another one in their deck. Okay, there is another one in their deck. Damn it. The opponents is finally. Yeah. I got scared of you rotating away Yavimaya to deny me mana and misplayed. Should have waited. Alright. I have died. We are 0-4. I will be dropping this league. Overall thoughts on this deck list. You cannot play a legacy deck that does not have removal if you are trying to do something fair. If you are doing something unfair and you are like show and telling in Emrakul, or like you are storming off or playing Doomsday or something like that, like you don't have to play removal because you get your opponent dead. This deck is trying to drag the game on a very long time and set up an inevitability engine. You need removal in your deck list. Like, I tried to stay true to the donor's vision by not just adding another color for removal, because, like, that just would have turned this into, like, a Bant Urza Saga deck list that, like, would not have been anything interesting, right? So, like, I tried to skirt that by playing the Maze of Ith, like, sideboard plan, and, like, while that partially worked, just having, like, 0 ability to actually kill creatures in your 75 is not really acceptable. And while endurance, ambushing things in combat is kind of cool, like, that's fine. Essentially, the worst part of the deck list was all the cute stuff, right? Like, I don't think I ever gained a single point of life off of that. This was just a worse 3-drop play than these most of the time. I was running out of gas for exploration relatively quickly because like I couldn't get this stuff online most of the time. I think if you want to try something like this, like you just need to be in another color. Like you can go into red for Punishing Fires, you can go to white for Swords of Plowshares or Prismatic Ending or something, but like you need to be able to kill stuff. And with that, I think I am going to call it a day and get some lunch. Folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. And if you have a deck that you want to see on the channel, please consider doing a donation deck list. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!